Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Wednesday meditation gathering. I'm so glad you're all here to share this time together. This week, we have Carolina Corada, who's going to lead us in meditation, and then we're going to have 20 minutes of silence. After that, we'll open it up for sharing, and we end at 10:45. Over to you, Carolina.
Hello, beloveds. Thank you so much to everyone who has decided to come and join us for this meeting, for this meditation. I'm sorry, I'm going to just have WhatsApp web and it's making a noise. So I've just closed it now. And thank you, Miracle Network, for always hosting us. It's an honor for me to be here again with you guys from Ibiza. And I'm very happy to call forth the truth and the peace and the tranquility that we will share today. I trust it will inspire you and remind you that peace and calmness and tranquility are possible in our Father. So thank you so much for this backdrop to use my English book. I usually use my Spanish book. So I'd like to open just with a prayer and then a little reading, and then I'll go into silence. Yes. So please just take a moment to close your eyes, maybe. Allow me to come into your space just with my voice. Father, our name is yours. In it, we are united with all living things, and you who are their one creator. What we made and call by many different names is but a shadow we have tried to cast across your own reality. And we are glad and thankful we are wrong. All our mistakes we give to you, that we may be absorbed from all effects our errors seem to have. And we accept the truth you give in place of every one of them. Your name is our salvation and escape from what we made. Your name unites us in the oneness which is our inheritance and peace. The oneness which is our inheritance and peace is only found in the memory of our Creator, in the memory of our Source. And this is what I'm inspired to share with you today. I was very gently guided to the introduction of part 2 of the workbook lessons, and where we are told that we can wait for our Father's arrival now, because words will mean very little now. And I accept that. I am in the commitment that words will mean very little now. For now we seek direct experience of truth alone. We now together choose by inspiration to leave the world of pain behind and to go enter peace. For we wait in quiet expectation for our God and Father. He has promised He will take the final step Himself. And I thank all of you who have chosen, brothers and sisters, to come into this shared silence where together we are committed to awaiting for our Father, for truth itself to present Himself within us, before us, and around us. This is a joyful coming together where many of us have committed to opening our minds, our hearts, our human experience, to sharing a silence where we await in quiet expectation for our God and Father. So let us do just that in a gentle, sweet, profound inspiration and exhale. Allow yourself to empty your consciousness of the world. Allow your judgments, allow your memories, allow your ideas of what needs to be done later or what had to be done before this instant, so we can have consciousness of the real world in this silence where we await.
You're
You're
muted,
on
Dan.
mute, Dan. Oh,
Dan, you're in silence.
Sorry. Woo. Open your eyes slowly, come back into the room. You've already done that. We have approximately 17 minutes left for sharing your comments and questions. If you'd like to speak, raise your hand and you can, or you can take yourself off mute by, and use the reactions button at the bottom of the screen. If you'd like to ask Carolina a question or a comment with confidentiality, put your message in the chat function and I'll read it out. Who'd like to share?
Just wanted to add a little something extra before everybody begins sharing. The power of shared silence is the power of coming back home. There's nothing to be said and no thoughts to be discarded, just a presence that we allow ourselves to come into. And this is the beauty of the second part of the training in the Course in Miracles that I'm so fond of, especially that introduction text. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Carolina. Kirsty, would you like to share something?
hi, Carolina. Beautiful. Thank you very much for that. I have a thing. I think it's fairly common thing with everybody to some extent or another, where when I approach the stillness and the silence, then obviously the ego is trying to get in, and it's and it's a case of wanting to recognize this and notice the ego's efforts and to let it go. But my experience of my ego experience, it's very, very tricky and quite ingenious. And its latest trick, which has been happening for the last week or so, is when I get into this very beautiful deep stillness, the ego gives me this very, very compelling thought that I'm actually driving down the motorway and I'm nodding off at the wheel. And even though I'm sitting in my house on my sofa on my meditation bench, the thought is so compelling that it actually, I have to check that I'm not, and it just jerks me out of this meditation. And I just don't, it just doesn't feel safe to me somehow to ignore it. It's such a risky, dangerous thought. It just doesn't feel safe to ignore it. And there's also the thing that, I do spend a lot of time on the motorway, and I've never fallen asleep at the wheel. I hope I never do. But it just doesn't seem to be a safe thought to ignore, to get into the habit of ignoring somehow. So I'm just wondering if you had any suggestion there.
Thank you, Kirsty. Well, many years ago I was teaching with another Spanish teacher, and we did a workshop together, and when we divided it in parts so that when he was teaching I could just sit there, be still, and enjoy his beautiful teaching, and when I was teaching he would do the same. So in one of the parts where he was teaching, I just went into a very deep meditation, almost catatonic state, and I woke up maybe 3 hours later, and the students were pinching me because I had completely gone past the world and entered a silence that I had no idea how to come back from. So he told me, don't do this ever if you are by yourself, he said. That was his suggestion. So this brings to my mind what you were saying. I wouldn't say that driving the motorway is the best place to let go. Of course, there will be a restraint there because you are driving. You're not an automated pilot in this world of illusion. It's like stopping your breathing or not eating or not drinking water. There are beliefs that we have accepted within this dream that keep you going. So meditation and contemplation require your attention. And if you're driving, from what I understood, you cannot provide all your attention to this. So I used to drive a lot myself, and I know it's a wonderful time to be used spiritually. In my case, I suggest prayer, conversation, letting go. But it's not a place to let go of this moment, because you are required to be in a certain muscle tension in order to drive. So I don't know if that's helpful for you, but I think all of us have the opportunity. That's why there's monasteries and there's vipassanas and there's meditation retreats where you feel free and you feel completely in the perfect place to let go. And that would not be the motorway. So as you were speaking, lesson 69 came to mind. Lesson 69 says, I'm not going to tell you what the enunciate says, the main title, but it does speak about a brilliant light hidden by the clouds. And it associates these clouds with the thoughts that become obstacles to the experience of the light within. And these clouds, and this is such a lovely lesson where you observe the clouds, that is the judgmental thoughts, the ego thoughts, and you pull them away very gently. There need not be a struggle. We cannot fight the ego. We don't attack the ego. We abandon it. We lose interest in it. But there is this practice in lesson 69 where it gives you imagery on how to do this. And again, this is something that needs to be done in a quiet space where your physical attention is not needed. When a physical attention is needed for a particular lesson or practice, then you will be distracted. So I don't know if that helps. But
thanks, Carolina. And actually, it's funny that you should say that. As I was speaking, lesson 69 came to mind, because in that 20 minutes, I was doing lesson 69. That's my meditation practice. So it's amazing that that's what you came up with. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hi, Maggie.
Hello, Carolina. Thank you so much for that. I found it really helpful because I spent the meditation sort of just trying to surrender to God my thoughts and judgments. And when you said, you named them and said, allow them, let them go. And so I did do that. And I'm doing that a lot in meditation. But one thing that just keeps coming is, maybe I just have to keep practicing, but it's a similar thing to Kirsty, I think, in a way, that with my daughter, with her 2-year-old son, I have this compulsion to sort of interfere or to say something if she gets cross, or she's sort of saying, you're not listening. And I'm thinking, well, he's 2. No, he's not listening. You know, I don't want her to speak so much. And I'm practicing being very calm. And maybe I, just have to carry on. But it feels like I can't stop and pause myself to think, don't say it. So I don't know if there's anything I can do in the moment, but that feels like the ego comes in and...
Well, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Maggie. There is in chapter 30, Roman numeral 7, the new interpretation. Most of it, but especially the first few paragraphs, speak about the script that is written and how we think we can interfere, correct, and change the world, make it a better place, make it different. And this doesn't only pertain to saving the whales or, you know, the ozone layer or whatever. It pertains to our everyday lives. And this is where the ego thinks it can take advantage, because we address the big issues, and then the ego remains alive and nurtured with our everyday lives. So, of course, I have children too. I have a cat, I have a neighbor, etc. All the distractions are around, but they are not a distraction no longer, because there is a sense that I have accepted, and you can accept too, because you have this awareness that I need not change a thing in this illusion. Nothing needs to be changed by me but my thoughts about what I see. So can it be possible then, in the perfect plan for salvation of a child, 2-year-old, the mother is making a mistake? I do not think so. I believe in the perfection of the highly individualized plan, and that pertains for a child, a cat, any living creature. And this you will be able to practice. For example, with the cat, I have a adopted cat. She just walked into my house one day, and I said, "Okay, you can stay." And one day I was sitting in the porch, and she was playing with a lizard. Okay, she was playing with it with the paw, and the lizard was running, and she would grab it and drop it, and I could feel that she had no intention of eating it, but it was just having a good time. And for an instant, I had the temptation to think, "Oh, that poor lizard, bad cat." I had, just for an instant, and then there was like a flush of truth from within that said, "Everything is perfect as it is. You have no right to think that by interfering in the world, you will make it better. Because what that does is make that world real for you. And this is an error."
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Nicola, would you like to share?
This isn't really central to what we're doing, but at the beginning you said all living things, which I know is in the course, and I'm always wanting to know, does that include animals, the earth, stones, mountains? Are they, I mean, I just like to know what you think. Do you see them as living beings, like a spirit within them, and the universe and elemental beings? Thank you.
Thank you, Nicola. Well, there is a lesson that I repeat a lot in Spanish, which is how I normally study the course. I don't know if I can quote the lesson exactly like it is in the English version, the original version, but it's something: I am oneself, one with every aspect of creation. So every aspect of creation is not necessarily speaking about the world, because the world is not a creation of our source. It's a dream. It's an ego dream. So if I am into oneness with every aspect of creation, there is nothing that is not part of that creation. And that will have to be true also for everything I see, because nothing can be outside that which is everything. This is how my heart resonates with it. Nothing can be outside anything, that which is whole. So if I open my mind to this, if you open your mind to this lesson, to this truth, then the justification for judgment against what is good or bad in the world will begin to dim, and it will no longer interest you, because you will know that that which is which extends within itself, has no other. It's the formlessness of the truth. The formlessness, and this is lesson 186, I believe, where the formlessness is mentioned. Actually, in Spanish, it's translated, and I love that translation, the amorphia, that which has no morphos, no form. So if this is what we are reaching, then how can anything, not even a bacteria, a rock or whatever, be outside that which englobes everything? It's like the first introduction to the course where it says the opposite of love is fear, but that which is all encompassing can have no opposites. So this is true also for the dream. There are no opposites. There's nothing outside that does not belong. Thank God. Is that helpful, Nicola?
Well, so I'm cat. She is spirit within her cat body.
I didn't understand that. Can somebody get that fully? It was choppy on my side. Pardon?
Nicola, you're breaking up. Perhaps you could write it in chat,
Sorry.
and I'll read it out. Okay. I have something else in
Okay.
that, and this person asks, I would like to ask for advice in how to promote my meditation practice. I'm constantly distracted. I can usually just about manage 5 to 10 minutes, but thoughts are still there all the time. Will this ever improve, and how?
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Does not need to be anonymous. So that's Sarah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sarah.
Hi,
Yes,
Sarah.
thank you for your practice. Thank you for your commitment. And thank you for acknowledging that, yes, we all get better at it. I mean, you have a 2,000-page book. You are not expected to approach the book and know it before you practice it. It's a question of practice, of repetition. In meditation, the Course in Miracles is not necessarily a book that teaches meditation. It offers guided meditation, and it speaks about the release of the judgment in the mind. But if you want to find a more precise meditation technique that can help you to achieve what any meditator wants to achieve, which is silence of the mind. And there are many, I used many techniques in the past. There's a beautiful book called How to Meditate. That's it. And it shares about 47 or 50 different styles of meditations. Meditations of the external way. For example, for someone who is very distracted with thoughts, I usually share this with my students. I ask them to light a candle and just put it in front of them and observe the flame. Just concentrate on the flame, and then as the thoughts come, you direct them to the flame. And this activity will bring your attention to one thing, which is the flame and the releasing to the flame. But there are so many others. So of course, if you want to learn to meditate and stay still and quiet and be able to do this for the longest periods of time for your own benefit, it requires practice. I will suggest that you look this book up. I'm trying to think if it's somewhere around here so I can show it to you. Yes, hold on, give me a second. Here it is. It's a very useful aid. How to meditate. It's got all my preferred meditations, and it's the acclaimed self, I don't know, It's by Lawrence Lashan. And this can be purchased, I'm pretty sure, on Amazon. This is a very old book, but I'm pretty sure you can get it. So the course is not focused on meditation. It's focused on forgiveness and our relationships. But if you do want to do that, I think it's proper that you find aids to help you do this much better. So I hope that helps.
Okay, Jill, would you like to share something?
Yes, hello. Yes, I just want to go back to the amorphous idea. And I'm just wondering how to deal with something which is so heartfelt, like if there is an animal that is suffering and you desperately want to help it, or you see somebody that is desperately suffering and you want to help them, how do you go beyond that? In terms, if that is an egoic response, it feels like a truly heartfelt response. How does one go beyond that?
Thank
Where
you.
you're just absolutely driven to do something about it.
Thank you, Jill. If I was ill or if I was suffering, I would like you to approach me and remind me that that's not true. To remind me that I'm an eternal being and that all is well. Now, in the world of form, this cannot actually be done physically, because if someone has a broken leg or a cat has a cancer or whatever, there needs to be attention given to that in the external aspect of the problem. But in the internal aspect, how you face it directly, there is there's a training to be had and a training to be practiced, which is not to give reality to anything in this world, not to be loyal to suffering. Now, I will give you a very specific example. I have done a lot of volunteering work in rehab centers, in jail systems. For some reason, with men. I haven't worked that much with women, but with men. And I remember I was organizing a workshop at a rehab center. There were 65 men who had been picked up from the streets, and they were being helped out of their addictions and just being nurtured back to life. And the director knew me and asked me if I could give them a workshop, a whole day workshop. I said, yes, of course I will. And I had some students coming to me and saying, I'd love to join you in this, you know, those poor men. I just want to help them and give them all my love. And those people who said that, it was very clear to me. And I said, you can't come. You can't come because you are going there making the nightmare real. If you come, your heart must say, I am one with you. I am not in a better position with you, but we are both heaven. This is inside, okay? And in my case, I've had people come with me and join me, but you need to be able to see your brother in the perfect sanity and sanctity in which he dwells. And I have come to this with practice, and I can see how useful I am, because when you come with this position, with this feeling, with this truth in your mind, your brother meets you exactly there where you are. And then it's not what you say, it's not the healing that you give to the body, but it's the vibration of love and perfection that the other one remembers who they are, at least for an instant.
Yeah. Yeah, not to be the rescuer, but to be
Exactly.
at one with the, yes. Okay, thank you. That's very helpful.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I have something in chat that says, thank you. Are you saying your cat has her spirit in her body like us? Or are we all without any differentiation? Is the whole living universe, which includes us, cats, the earth, are we all one?
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to read that again because it came a little choppy for me. Go
Uh,
ahead.
yes, uh, thank you. Are you saying your cat has her spirit in her body like us? Or are you one without any differentiation? Are we all one without any differentiation? Is the whole living universe, which includes us, cats, the earth, all one?
Yes, absolutely. And I have a very profound experience. I've never been a cat person. I never had a cat living with me before. I had no idea of cat personality or how that worked out, what they ate. I had no idea. And I saw this cat, and I thought, this being, this living creature is coming into my life to show me something about myself, and I opened my mind to that. And sooner than later, I could see myself in the cat. I could see how she was behaving, I was behaving. I could see my reflection in her, and I was so grateful to the Holy Spirit to send me such a mirror. So there is a joining, there is an understanding, and there is a oneness. I do not believe that spirit is in her. I believe she's in spirit. There is not if we speak about spirit, we don't speak about multiple spirits. We speak about spirit, and all living creatures are held within, and the bodies are irrelevant. The bodies are the error, and we don't want to dwell and pay attention to that heartfully, but we do want to pay attention to the one mind. How can a living creature not be part of the one mind? That's impossible. Living creatures, every living creature is part of the one mind. The environment, the plants, the animals, the insects, everything. If you allow yourself to experience that, you will know God.
Thank you. Okay, Matthias.
Yeah, thank you, Carolina, for reminding me for this meditation. Thank you. What is in me the last days and last months, it's about the truth. It's about what is the truth, or does the truth exist? It's what every often in my mind. So, and it's coming to me, the truth exists, and I'm in my mind is this, everything is illusion. Everything is illusion. Also, me, I am illusion. So that's what I discover. It's opening. Oh, I exist. Wow, I exist. And it's like, ooh. It's not that I don't. It's like, wow, I am the truth, and that's what you helped me a lot today. It's coming up. My existence is coming up. It's like a reborn. It's like what I was training with the Course in Miracles for a long time. Everything is illusion. I pushed everything away. So, but that is not the truth. There is the truth and there is illusion, and it's important to separate them. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Matthias. I'd have to say that I've been with the course for many years as well, and there is a sense of undoing, as if I was a mummy. Let's imagine a mummy, and I was wrapped in these protection clothings, which are all my beliefs, and the Holy Spirit is pulling on it very gently, and it's being undone. And for a moment, there was an idea that I'm going to be undone and I'm going to disappear because I'm not real. And then I could feel the light shining into my awareness. And that light was only dimmed by all the beliefs, that I had about this figure. And as I allow the Holy Spirit to undo, which is what atonement means, the undoing of the error, as the this happens, then nothing changes really, because you have always been the light. You have always been the beloved, always. That hasn't changed. It was just covered by a belief system. And when we let that belief system go by the means of the Holy Spirit, then is this burst of light that was already there. So enlightenment or awakening, is it a change? It is not a change. It is, that's why it's called the return to love, the return to God. We allow our teacher to undo the belief. And maybe at some point we grab the undoing and we say, I don't want to be undone. And then with prayer and meditation, we let go, and then the undoing continues. And the experience of ourself becomes an impact to our awareness. Thank you.
Anyone else? Celia, go ahead.
Thank you, Carolina. I just want to say everything you've said today just hits the mark with me, and I feel so supported by all of the sharings. Can I, going back to what to your sharing with Maggie and seeing imperfection in the world and that not being right, can I ask you, I live in a lovely place and I go for a walk every day with the dog, and there is litter lying about. And my feelings about the litter have been, originally were sort of disapproval and getting a bag and collecting some of it up and feeling that I was doing a good thing. And over the time that this has been happening, I have actually learned to love the litter and to collect it with great gratitude, and this is a result of doing the course and seeing it as not as part of the illusion. But I'm still collecting it up. Do I need to just leave it there and just love it and let it lie there? Please, can you help?
Thank you. I think you're doing just fine. I honestly, in my practice, and this I would suggest, allow yourself to be guided. Forgiveness is not a function of Celia or of the ego. It is the Holy Spirit's function. And you can read about that thoroughly in the psychotherapy pamphlet. I think it's in the Song of Prayer pamphlet. I think it's number 2, that it's called Forgiveness. And it explains very thoroughly how we as humans, as this ego self, have tried to substitute the function that only the Holy Spirit holds, which is forgiveness. So our, how could I say, our practice is to be willing to let go and allow Holy Spirit to work His miracle through us. So what is it right to pick up the trash? Is it right to leave it there? Do you think there's an importance there? That's the error. That's
right. Okay.
The rest of it is meaningless, because if you can bring yourself to be guided, one day you will pick it up and put it in the garbage bin, and another day you will not. And then your mind will begin to discover that it's all the same, that it doesn't really matter in truth. And this is where we want to bring us. You know, in the course where it says, gently allow the lessons to be generalized. Where you don't make hierarchies of importance, you let everything be the same. And this, at least in my experience and my practice, can only be attained through the teacher. That knows better. And my sole job is to surrender my thoughts and ideas to him.
Okay. Yeah. Makes complete sense. Thank you.
Okay, we've come to the top of the hour. Thank you so much, Carolina. It's been a wonderful time.
Thank you.
Take yourself off of mute and show your appreciation to Carolina.
Thanks, Carolina.
Thank you, Carolina.
Thank you.
Thank
you, Carolina. Lots of love.
Thank you,
everyone.
Jan and Teresa.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Much gratitude. Thank you very much.